Welcome. In this video, I'm going to cover gold and gold mining stocks. We'll go through the dollar because any outlook on the dollar is usually the inverse of gold. And so if you're interested in the gold trade or the gold mining stock trade, stay tuned. I'm going to go through a lot of different stocks and we're going to really use technical analysis to be our guide. Okay, so we're going to start out with gold bullion, and you can use GLD. I like to use the gold bullion price just to give me kind of a real world value. So this is gold bullion. It's right now sitting at about $1,800. A couple things on gold bullion that I'm seeing is gold is in an uptrend. It's a clear uptrend since since about 2015. We've made a series of higher lows and higher highs. So you can see all the lows, and then as we trend up, it's been making higher highs. The longer term trend that I can see that's really been established now really goes back to about 2019, and you can see all the tags of it. I've got a circle here. We held support. Here's your COVID drop. We held support here, and recently we've also held support right in here. So we've got clear support being held at that upward trend line. So in general, we have a longer term bull market in gold that's playing out, and you want to buy at support, but that doesn't mean that gold's just going to go straight up. We want to look at areas, key levels to buy at. So zooming in at the most recent time frame, we've got this level of support. It's about 1790, and I've had this level marked out for a while. Let me get rid of that one. That, if you look at the weekly chart, was former major resistance back in the last bull market. So the last bull market that took place from 2000, basically 2001, all the way up till 2011. It was a 11 year bull market. Topped out basically at the 1790 level. We overshot it just once. And then once we came down, we tested that 1790 level 3 times. 1 tag there, 2, and then 3. And this is multi-week tags. So you can see I'm on a weekly chart here. And finally, it was rejected on the 3rd time and went into a bear market over the next 6-7 years. Okay, so zooming into that level and where we're at today, you can see recently, just giving you the bigger picture, we finally hit that level at 1790, and we had a huge impulsive breakout. 3 weeks of really impulsive buying. We got really overbought, started to put in negative divergence, and it signaled that this buyout or this breakout here was going to get faded, at least initially. And that's what we've had. We had a big long correction over several months in gold. But recently you can see we're basically trading back above that level of 1790. We came below it, chopped above it, came back below it a little bit. Now we're above it. So we're trading around this key level. And so that gives you context of the bigger picture. Now zooming in on the daily, and really if we look at the hourly, you can see all the tags of that 1790 level that we've had, and we basically have been building a base of support right here at this level. It sells down, hits support, the buyers step in, and it's done it several times. Once, twice, 3, 4 times basically we've tagged and held this support level, and the buyers are stepping in here. So that's one thing I want to point out. Another thing to point out, recently back here in June, we put in bullish divergence, and it shows up on the daily, but it's more clear on the hourly. I have it circled. So you see here how we made a new lower low in price right in here. So it was a lower price than the former low back here, and yet momentum was a much higher high in momentum. So that's bullish divergence. That's telling you that the momentum is starting to turn bullish, and yet price is still kind of drifting lower, telling you you're likely going to get a reversal in trend. So that's what I see as of right now. Going back to the daily chart, this was a downtrend in gold. We had a major breakout. We then put in a corrective downtrend in a bull market, and we then at the end of that trend we put in bullish divergence, and we're starting to move higher. So I'm looking for the next higher. This chart tells me that we're likely going higher. Where does it turn bullish? Well, I think if we break this trend, if we start to trade down in this area, 1750 or below, then that's pretty bearish for gold, and we'll want to react based on that. But as of right now, everything that I can see looks bullish. So now that that's in context, let's look at the dollar. Okay, so here's the dollar and the daily chart. Major level on the dollar of support is all the way down here at 89. About 89, we've held that level several times. As I zoom out, you can see that was former resistance, and then back here in 2014, it's really been support ever since. We've held it back in 2018 right there, and then recently in 2020, and we've not been able to break down that level. So that's a key level on the major longer term time frame. Zooming in though on the hourly, where does the dollar head next? Well, right now I'm seeing negative divergence with a bearish rising wedge. So you've got here on the PPO on the hourly clear negative divergence on the PPO and on the RSI, where momentum is trending down. See how we're basically trending down, and yet price on the dollar keeps kind of grinding higher. So divergent high here, there's a divergent high, a divergent high. So we have negative divergence on the hourly chart with a bearish rising wedge. What we're looking for, and we're at support right now in the dollar. I think it's not likely going to break today. Most likely the market's going to move next week when we have the FANG stocks report. But right now at support within this bearish rising wedge. So a break out of this wedge to the downside would be bullish for gold, and this chart is set up to do that. It's a bearish setup, all right, with negative divergence and a bearish rising wedge set up for a move down in the dollar, which should be positive for gold, and the miners will move, will basically move with leverage to the price of gold. Okay, so we'll start in some of these miners, starting with Kinross Gold KGC. So what I see on this one, recently on this daily chart, we had this downtrend. This is consistent with the correction in gold bullion. But down here at the lows, we put in bullish divergence. So you'll see here, I've got it kind of marked right there. We basically had made a new lower low in price and a higher low in momentum. So that was your bullish divergence telling you that a trend reversal was likely. Zooming in, here's your downtrend line. We saw the breakout of that downtrend. So we had a breakout, and we've come in for a back test of that trend line. So that's basically, as I zoom in, let me grab the chart correctly. As we zoom in, we've been kind of back testing this trend line, slightly above it. But most recently, if I go to the hourly chart, we can look at this price action that's been taking place recently. You can see here that we've been just making new lower lows right there in price, slightly new lower lows. But look at the momentum. Bullish divergence, even on the hourly chart in this most recent time frame right there on the PPO and the RSI. Let me kind of clean this up, zoom in and get this cleaned up here. Bullish divergence there on the RSI. So we have bullish divergence while we continue to kind of grind around and make lower lows in price. The momentum is bullish and diverging higher, telling me that we're likely, just back testing this trend line, building support, and we're likely going to probably make a big move to the upside in what looks to be a bull market. So bullish on that one, that looks good. Agnico Eagle, same thing. So here's the highs when gold peaked out back in August of 2020, had a nice corrective action. Down here at the lows, we put in bullish divergence. So you'll see right here how we made a new low in price, but higher low in the PPO and the RSI right there. So bullish divergence down here at the bottom. We then basically reversed trend, broke out from this downtrend, this daily downtrend. This was a downtrend that was respected until it finally broke out. And then we've come in for a back test. So most recently, you can see the back testing we've been doing of this trend line. Zooming in on the hourly chart, you can see here, let me grab the right tool here. You can see same thing. We are, most recently, we are putting in bullish divergence on the hourly as well. So there's your bullish divergence on the hourly PPO and also on the RSI. So each new low that we make, that's a divergent low right there. Haven't really made a new low since, so we could continue to kind of grind around and just creep lower. But again, I'm viewing this as a buying opportunity. And I am looking for us to bounce off of this trend line and start to work our way higher. at a minimum gap fill. There's a gap fill right here at 68.32, but I think we're likely due for a lot more gains. We'll probably consolidate, maybe pull back at that gap fill, then move higher. But in general, we're bullish on that one as well. Wheaton Precious Metals, WPM. So here's your downtrend that we recently have been in when gold was correcting. Down at the low here, we had bullish divergence. So there's your higher high in momentum right there on the RSI, and it's on the PPO, or it's on the PPO and the RSI. New lower low in price, indicating that likely you're going to get a trend reversal. You did see the trend reversal then. So we broke out from this downtrend. We are now kind of pulling back. So there is the potential this one could pull back. You could even pull all the way back down here and back test this trend line, support like some of these other charts. I'm not exactly sure if we're going to get that move because of the way gold is set up and the way gold is holding support. Doesn't look like gold wants to go down much more. But again, that's possible in this stock. So again, we're not at a key level here, so maybe we go down lower. But in general, longer term looks bullish. We broke out. We're coming back in. You know, we could do this, or we could come all the way down and backtest and then rally. So again, I would look for some of these other stocks and maybe the price of gold to start to indicate where this one's going to go in the short term. In the long term, I think it's going to rally with gold. Here's GDX, which is a mining ETF. It's kind of a bunch of miners, and basically here's your downtrend line on the daily chart. Down at the low right here, we put in bullish divergence, indicating we were going to get a trend reversal. We did get that trend reversal. You can see from this divergent low here, we rallied 30%. So the divergence told you were going to get a rally or potential rally, and then you did get it. We did break out as well. Look at the breakout candle on this GDX. See the breakout candle or buy signal? We broke out, came back in, back tested, off to the races. We're coming back in for another back test. Not exactly sure you're going to get the full back test. Again, just given where the price of gold's at. But if you do, then I think there's really good support down here at about 31.30. So if it does want to sell off and make another slight leg lower, this would be a really key buy zone, because you would be back testing this broken. You would be backtesting the former downtrend line, which would now be support. And also there's this key level at about 31.30 that was former support here, and then it was also resistance back here in 2019. And so that's a key level of major support now. That would be a key area to buy if it does want to get down there. Sandstorm. So this is a royalty company. They trade a little bit different than the miners, but in general, they're based on gold. You have a downtrend line, clear downtrend line on the daily chart. Down at the low here, you had bullish divergence. So you'll see here, right there, you made a new lower low and yet higher low in momentum. So bullish divergence, it's right there. And if I zoom in, you'll see it. Like here's the RSI. You can see it basically marked out right there. Bullish divergence. And we have what looks to be like a breakout of that downtrend, a backtest, and off to the races. Now it did break that uptrend, so gold has been pulling back. So there is the potential to pull all the way back down to maybe major support, which right now I see at about 590 or so. That level goes back a ways. There's some support right in there. Do we get there? I'm not so sure. Would I want to be going long sand right here? No, not necessarily. I think there's some other miners that are near their support levels that look like a better area. So again, I'm going to watch gold bullion to give me an indication on this one. Most recently, though, on the hourly chart, you can see we're starting to put in hourly bullish divergence. So here's price. We made pretty much an equal low as the former low right there. And yet, if you look at the PPO, there's a bullish divergence. We're making higher lows in the PPO and the RSI. So divergent low right here on the hourly. It looks like we're probably near the bottom on this one, and we're likely going to start rallying. Newmont mining. This one's objective, and really today we hit the downtrend line. So here's your downtrend line going back to August 2020 on Newmont. Clear downtrend line right there. Down at the lows here, we We had bullish divergence on the RSI. Let me kind of mark that out if I can zoom in there. It's right about there. Not so much on the PPO, but it was on the RSI. So kind of mixed signals on that one. But clearly, gold was bullish at that time. And we then broke out. Look at the breakout candle. I have it circled right there. So there's a breakout of former downtrend, which tells me we've started a new uptrend. So we rally, backtest the trend line, rally again, come all the way back down, and we're backtesting the trend line support again right here and now. So this is bullish. We're right at support. Good major support on Newmont, holding that. And if you look at the hourly chart, if I zoom into the near term, you can see this when they tag that support today, right here today, that was done on bullish divergence. Let me go ahead and see if I can grab the tool and mark it out here, right there. See that, how we're making a higher high in the momentum on RSI and the PPO on a new lower low in price. That's bullish divergence right here at major support. So this is a buy right here and now, basically this morning, and you're close enough, I think, today, but this is definitely the buy zone for Newmont. I like this one in my opinion. Everything on this channel is just my opinion, not financial advice, but in my opinion, that's a buy right in there. Okay, Franco-Nevada, FNV. This one's barely dropped. So gold, back here obviously had a correction, but recently a lot of these, we had a breakout of that downtrend right here. And that came with bullish divergence. You can see right here on the RSI, it was definitely bullish divergence, not so much on the PPO. So kind of mixed signals there, but clear breakout of that downtrend line. And then it's just gone sideways. It's just been flagging out right here. So I'm mixed on this one. This one obviously could pull back quite a bit, or could just be flagging out before it makes its next move higher. I'm not really interested in participating in this one, just given that the chart doesn't give me a clean entry at this level. We do have some resistance right there at about 151.97, and then obviously the former high 166.50. So a break above those, and that would be bullish, obviously. BTG, this one could come down a little bit more, but what I'm seeing is we're starting to build some bullish divergence. So you have a former low right here, and you can see that basically throughout this period, and really the bullish divergence has been building for quite some time. This new low that we have right in here, as I zoom in on the PPO, you can see really made an equal, slightly higher low in the momentum, and we obviously made a lower low in price. So bullish divergence is there and intact on the daily chart. On the PPO, the RSI, I'm not seeing it there as much, kind of mixed signals. So that's why I'm thinking, because we don't have it on the RSI, maybe we're going to rally here and continue a slightly lower. We do have major support right down here at about 352. That is good. There's some support right in here. That was kind of former resistance, broke above. The major support, though, really comes from the bull trend that I see, where we have a reaction here, and then there's your COVID reaction, where it pretty much held. So if we want to come down to 352 and keep bullish divergence in the PPO and the RSI, that's going to be your major area of support. So yes, potential to come down a little bit more on this one, although it's starting to turn bullish in the momentum, but that's still another 12 to 13% down. So might want to wait on maybe adding to that one till we get some more, till the chart firms up a little bit. IAMGOLD. This one just hit major support the last couple days. So here's your downtrend line on the daily chart on IAMGOLD. And you can see here we had a breakout the other, back here, back tested, held, and we came back in for another back test. So this was a back test of that downtrend line. So far we're holding. That's looks like the buy zone to me. And also on the PPO, you can see, let's see if we got no, we made a new lower low in the PPO, so no divergence there. And the RSI, no real divergence there either. So no bullish divergence, just backtesting that trendline support. What that means is we also have earnings coming out. Maybe this wants to grind around, sell down, and put in some bullish divergence as we come into earnings, and then we'll rally after earnings. So we are at support without divergence. You don't need divergence to tell you, to give you indication of a rally. I mean, it is support as of right now, right here at about, support is about 264. So keep an eye on that one for a break, for a start of the uptrend. Okay, Harmony Mining, HMY. So we're starting to uptrend in this. It's not impulsive yet, but that's okay. Uptrends typically don't start impulsive. They usually end impulsively. And so what we have here is on the daily chart, clear downtrend line that really started at the highs back in July of 2020. Clear downtrend. Down near the lows here, which I've really got marked in green as my buy zone, we put in bullish divergence. So that was a new low in price, and yet momentum right here was higher than the former low. So there's the former low, higher low, and then the price was a high and then a lower low in price. So again, you're looking for momentum to diverge or going in the opposite direction as price. That's divergence, and in this case, it's bullish divergence, indicating that you're going to get a trend reversal. We then did get a trend reversal. So down here, you can see we rallied up 50% from that divergent low. And we put in, I think up here we put in a divergent high. So then we've corrected, right? We've come back down. But what we're doing is coming into major support right down in here at this buy zone again. So far we're holding, and that's that downtrend line as well. So we're back testing that downtrend line. And while doing it, we're holding that major support. Looking at the hourly here, we started to put in some bullish divergence again on the hourly right in here. So this price action right here, as we continued to drift lower, was divergent low price action. We started to diverge on the hourly, making higher highs in momentum, indicating we're going to get a reversal of this downtrend, and we have so far. You can see we gapped up, and that's a breakout. That's a buy signal. Gaps around key levels are that's impulsive. So gapped up, it's chopped around, but it's moving higher, and I think that's going to continue. So in short, this one looks bullish. It looks like this is likely going to continue higher. And Barrick Gold. So Barrick Gold, here's your downtrend line. Created a bearish falling wedge as well down here at the lows. This we put in we put in bullish divergence. So there is a divergent low. So the PPO was made on higher momentum. Not the RSI as much. Didn't quite have the bullish divergence on the RSI, but we did have it on the PPO. We then broke out. So there's your breakout. There was a buy signal. It back tested and then it rallied. This one could go lower. We're kind of treading water a little bit. But as you see here on the hourly chart, we're starting to put in bullish divergence again. Let me kind of clean this chart up a little bit. Right here, you'll see on the PPO, we are making higher lows, and then on the RSI, I already have that marked out. So each new low that we spike down is divergent low. That's a divergent low. That's a divergent low. Because the momentum is moving higher while price is spiking down. That tells me that we're likely going to have a reversal of this downtrend that it's been in. So right now I'm just watching this level. Really the key level I think is about 2130. I think you get a bullish break above that level, and that's going to be your buy signal or indication that this downtrend is over and we're starting what's likely a new, probably sustainable uptrend in this stock. So I like that one, especially I like it above that 2130 area. Okay, so the video has gone on long enough. I've covered a lot of different miners. These are gold miners. So again, silver oftentimes will move in the same direction as gold, but it doesn't always trigger at the exact same time. So in general, if gold looks bullish, silver should be bullish as well. Doesn't mean it's going to play, sometimes it has to play catch up. But that's a lot of the miners. In general, they look bullish, and I continue to position myself personally that way. If you guys find value in the content, leave me a thumbs up. Check out the course. Link in the description below, and I will catch you guys on the next.